loss of education time. Therefore, this study reviewed the models or frameworks for adoption and acceptance before and during COVID-19 e-learning to identify the suitable variables for a pandemic period. Moving to methodology, we use the approach systematic literature review, which was defined in 2020 as the process to find, evaluate, and understand all available research evidence. And the sources used, we used IEEE and Google Scholar, and our keywords were adoption, acceptance, e-learning, and COVID-19. In the inclusion table, only studies from 2015 to 2022 were used, and the publications were done in English, and again, the papers were related to education, technology adoption. Still in our literature review, we had the author that defined e-learning as a systematic method of teaching and learning that uses electronic media, which we all witnessed during COVID, whereby kids were doing homeworks using phones, laptops, desktops, etc. And the blended learning, this one is combination of physical and e-learning. Then the benefits of e-learning. Before COVID-19, e-learning was beneficial in terms of content accessibility, effortless teamwork, and common discussions. And it was confirmed that it had the capability of allowing students to produce work with high quality. Then during the pandemic period, the biggest advantage of e-learning was the ability to enable the education continuity while in isolation. This is the table of the modules and the variables used before COVID here, and this one is during COVID. Then in our results, we have a figure where we display number of variables per module. This will be the author and the number of variables used. This is before and this is during. Continuing with our results, we have in the pie chart, the blue is displaying moderator where we had 25 variables and 11 were the exogenous variables, and the endogenous are gray, and then in yellow were the mediators. And then on the other side, we have a bar graph that's displaying the common variables that were used during and before COVID. And then next we have the analysis of variables, whereby we showing which variable was used by which author, and the gray note is showing the author, and the blue one is indicating the common variable, and then the yellow so the gray ones show author and year, the blue indicate the common variable, The green nodes are variables that were used before COVID. And then on the other side, the figure is displaying before, during, whereby gray is also the author and the year. The blue is common, like the other side. And the red ones are the ones that we used to expand the modules which already existed, and the yellow ones are the ones that were introduced during COVID. And our findings, the study discovered that before COVID-19, the dominating method of learning was blended learning, where the authors were evaluating quality, usability, and if they can trust the system. And the focus was on variables like task technology fit, performance, usability, and satisfaction. While during COVID, e-learning was the only method. So it didn't matter if the performance is good or not, and utilization was a must. And then it also discovered that there were variables that were introduced during that period, which were variables like corona fear, as displayed there. Sorry. Okay. So, corona fear, perceived cost, the digital inequality, etc. Then, in conclusion, as much as the social lifestyle will changed, if you can remember, the weddings and funerals, only limited numbers were allowed. So even the research environment was affected in a way that the authors started expanding the models to accommodate the pandemic period. And the study concludes that the outbreak of COVID disease influenced the research area, meaning natural causes or any other upcoming outbreak will surely influence the research area, as they might result in education disruption like COVID-19. And the future work, it is suggested that the variables that were introduced during COVID should be investigated to see if after COVID they are still in use or not. That will be the end. These are the references that we used. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions, please?
Can I?
Yes, please.
Yeah, in terms of adoption, the intention of the adoption theory and acceptance has been used more widely in order to see if people are really adopting and accepting the technology. But during COVID-19, it was not a matter of really accepting, it was completely a done deal. There was no either or. You have to use this. So in terms of measuring the adoption and the acceptance, what will be the scale? What will you be gauging?
So basically, we were comparing the variables that were derived during COVID and the ones that were used previously.
Mm-hmm.
to check which ones were still valid during COVID and which ones were not.
Using the very framework of adoption.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other question?
That's
Okay,
all.
so yes. One from myself is about what's common between what variables were found to be common between prior and during COVID.
Perceived ease of use, perceived usefulness, facilitating condition.
Okay, yes. I'm just curious because
Mm,
okay, why would you say for example one of them? Pick one and say, okay, this is because what do you think makes it common between the two periods?
Okay, the perceived ease of use
Yeah.
and the perceived usefulness, as you can see, they are both higher. So they both higher like during COVID, as you can see the orange color. These were the most two variables that were used during COVID, whereby the perceptions were measured a lot during COVID, checking how the learners and the teachers feel about the immediate adoption.
Yeah, thank you. Right. Now, next presenter is, I'll call once again, just for the sake of checking. Paper 98 is here. Is the presenter here? Perspective on teaching and learning in higher education? No. Deep learning based long and short term memory integration? No. This one is here. A review of evaluation metrics algorithm. At the beginning, I identified him to the presenter to be in the room. That would be paper 82.
Okay, matrix.